Okay, so there's a bunch of stuff I'm going to try and talk about. So it's going to probably be kind of scattered. I'll probably do it and then I'll have to think, oh, I should have said this, I should. And so I might do more than one. We'll just see how it goes because it always ends up being like I just get so much stuff in there that I've got to just start saying it. And like I said, it may not seem linked to other people, but everything is linked together to me. How they show me stuff, it's how it all works. And just speaking of that, because I know other people are freaking out and super sad and super scared about the watch the water, and I seem like it's a relief to me because I've been saying this stuff and I have seemed so crazy to people. Like, I don't have a lot of people on here coming and telling me, I'm crazy. If they do, I just block them because I know that they just aren't seeing the truth. But when I talk to regular people, like I said, I just get seen as like this crazy old conspiracy theorist nut who thinks the government's poisoning him. I've told people, and people just don't want to hear it, and they just think like, oh, nothing could get past me, but they don't realize that they're not paying attention to anything. Everything's getting past you. So and this is another thing too that I was gonna say, because I keep talking about this consciousness is out there. It's communicating with us all. It's not just like a chosen few. The chosen few are just ones that are listening. We're ones that can hear. We're ones that know something out there exists. That is for each and every person to have that wake up in themselves, so that this is an evolution, what I keep talking about. She's snoozing. It's like evolution of human beings. I hate to even say that because they try and, fuck with their words. But consciousness. This is a huge evolution for consciousness. And, and this connection. And I was thinking about this morning because, like I said, I started hearing them when I was 3, is when I can remember so strongly hearing them. So I could recognize, it wasn't me at 3 years old sitting there having this, moral dilemma, this argument with myself. Like, I didn't know this stuff. I was a little kid and they were telling me. And then you start recognizing that someone's talking to you. You start talking back and you start communicating with them. And then, they just kept telling me more and more and more stuff. And it was in the rat race, being a part of that, is where I stopped listening so much. And I was caught up in my journey and my experience, and I had to learn a lot from that. But as soon as I came out of that and started working on my healing again, they were right back there talking, saying the same stuff. And so, I just know that it's out there for everyone. Anyone can tap into this consciousness that's around you, because there's people talking to you. You have, ancestors, you have relatives, you have people that love you all around you, even though you can't see them. They're there. They're celebrating when you celebrate. They are sad when you're sad. And they're trying to, drop breadcrumbs to you all the time. But you have to just listen. And so I was thinking, I would imagine that most people, if they really went back in their lives when they were little kids and started thinking about different things that happened when they were faced with a moral dilemma, I would imagine they would start hearing someone was talking to them. They just assumed it was themselves. Like when I was a little kid, I thought it was like we had one of those two, a devil and an angel, one on each shoulder, and I thought it was them arguing. So, we all have a perception. And then as I've gotten older, then I realized, oh, this is people talking to me. And when they were telling me about, that we're experiment, this is a zoo, and all of that stuff, when I started trying to tell people, nobody would listen to me. And that's why, eventually at 60 years old, I go start a YouTube channel. It's like, somebody out there has got to hear me. Like, I don't know this stuff for nothing. And, they're telling me like what they're doing and how they do it. So You know, because everything in our DNA makes us unique. Like I've been talking about so much, I explained how it makes us all individual, like with all your ancestry, where they live. That's why I've said it's important to tune into your own body. Don't try and eat by someone else's diet. You have to eat by what your body is telling you, because you're unique. You got to think about this too, is like, think about, you came into this world, you know, you're driving this red, shiny, beautiful, you know, decked out Corvette, and it's just, you know, it's sleek and it's beautiful, and, you know, you're feeling good. And then, you know, the world starts telling you, you know, that's old news. That's ugly. I don't like that at all. You know, you should have done blue. And so, you know, we start feeling kind of defeated, like, oh my gosh. And then this reality, this world around you starts telling you, well, you have to put this in it. Then it's going to run better. Put this in it. Put this in it. And then it's going to run good. You're going to be able to get anywhere you want to go. And so you start doing it, but your little sleek car starts chugging along. It's constantly in the shop. It always needs something. It needs this poured in it, and you know, you better change this fluid, and you better put this in it. So then your car just becomes, or your vehicle becomes just, you know, broken down, and it's not have the same shine to it. It's just barely getting down the road. That is what they're doing to us. They're telling us the same thing. You got to put this in, you got to put that in, and it's all stuff to destroy the vehicle. So it's not, you know, another thing this that I keep doing, and I've been seeing other people doing it, and I was like, oh, because he was talking in the Watch the Water thing, he was talking something about the wiggly things, the stuff that comes out of their teeth, that, or does it come, no, it doesn't come out of their teeth poke. And then they have this like thing in the back of their throat. It looks kind of like a urethra or something that you pee out of. It looks kind of like that, sticking out the back of their throat, like where we have tonsils. And it shoots the stuff out, I'm pretty sure. Maybe all snakes are different, but I'm pretty sure I had seen that that's how it works. So that it's in them. They make the thing to get it in you, and then it goes in you. And it's so toxic to us that it will kill you. And you know, another thing I had just been thinking about before the video, I was talking to my friend, and we were just talking about, you know, she lives in Australia and I live in America, and I was like, man, you guys just have so many. We were talking about spiders, I think, or something, but she was like that they have like 9 of the most deadliest spiders are there, or 9 of the most deadliest of the wiggle things are there. And so they have all this deadly stuff. I can't remember all the stuff, but they have a lot of stuff that can kill you. And she said, you know, as a kid, they'll just tell you, got to keep away from that. Like a funnel spiders, super dangerous, you get bit. And then they have another one, it's got a little red stripe on it. And those two are super, super deadly. And then they have a brown wiggle thing. And then they have some more, but the brown one is like super feared. You go out and you get bit, you're done for. And so it was just last week we were talking about this, and she was saying, you know, and everybody thinks we have these tons of great white sharks, but she said it's not. We have bull sharks, and bull sharks are more aggressive. They're really, really aggressive and dangerous, but that's what we have here is bull sharks. We don't have that much great whites. That's over by like South Africa or something. And but in that conversation, I think I was asking something about the Aborigines, like do they have some sort of anti stuff for those things when they bite them? Do they have the stuff to counteract the poison that's going in them? And I don't remember what she said, how that conversation went. Maybe we started talking about something else, because I don't remember there being a definite answer to if the Aborigines have, special, old treatments, because, they're surrounded by these things. Oh, that's what it was. She said, because I said, do they isolate them like in America? Here, they put certain people into ghettos and reservations, they isolate them. That's part of their scientific experiment. Like right now, in Canada, I was going to share this, but I was like, oh, this one will probably definitely get taken down. But in Canada, they just passed a law that they can go out and spray. I'm pretty sure it's the black stuff that starts with a G, R, that they can go out and spray that on the berries and stuff. So they're taking out the crops, and they're doing it by the reservation where these people live. They're spraying them with poison just right there, and saying, hey, it's okay. We gotta do this. There's some bugs on the plants. We gotta just go in here and see what they do. I mean, it's outrageous. They're poisoning people right in front of us. But there, she said that they don't have it segregated like that. It's a lot more people all over. But I would still imagine that there's some Aborigines people who have not, moved into the city. And I would think that they've figured out how to survive. But the interesting thing about it to me, now that we understand what the weapon is that's used against us, the squirmy things, stuff that shoots out, when we start thinking about like how they're using that against us, and that Australia was created as a prison country, that they were just using it as a prison, putting them out there, surrounded them with all things that could kill them, and they're still living like that. Because just think about it, like they have the abilities to make helicopters whisper. Like this morning I was sitting here and it's quiet except for the snoring, and my air conditioner, this fancy unit that they came out and put in, that they charge like $5,000, but for the clean air unit, whatever, the clean air they're trying to do out here, which right there, you got to think about some of this stuff with a lot more suspicion. I think I keep talking so fast, I keep swallowing air. So sometimes it's like I have this excitement inside my heart, my chest, like, oh, you gotta say this, you gotta say this, you gotta say this. So sometimes I have to breathe. Okay, so, they put those out here. And they say, okay, we've got this Clean Air Act we're trying to do. If you turn in your old wood stove, we'll put this new unit out here. What they're charging other people $5,000-$6,000. But, we're going to put it in your house for free because you're so good that you clean up this air. Well, I'll tell you a fucking weird thing about it. Every time the planes go over, that thing comes on. Every fucking time. Like, I don't know. I don't trust a goddamn thing, I'm telling you. And I even started thinking, when I said, like, it's blowing, when we go to sleep at night, are they blowing things through vents to knock us out, or, whatever? Do we think it's been a day and it's been, a week? Like, how would we know? They don't even have everybody on the same fucking time. So I was like, man, that thing could totally be blowing out anything. It could blow out chemicals if it was set up a certain way. My little nanny cam thing that I had gotten for the dogs before, when I had it sitting out, and this is before everybody started talking about like these things were watching us and stuff, and I would have it sitting out so if I left the house I could see the dogs and make sure everything was okay. And when I would be sitting here, all of a sudden I would notice that thing would come on and it would turn and look at me. And I was like, what the fuck? And, then you start hearing like they're watching us through the TV. they're watching us through the nanny cams, the fucking, those, mine's that little Google. I unplugged it. I put it up. I was like, this thing is listening to me. And it probably has a camera and watching me too, creepy motherfuckers. And Alexa. And the creepy stuff that it's doing, like it has a mind of its own. Like we're literally fighting AI at this point. But, if it's just weird that when there's something that I'm trying to hear, like the planes, which there's a new thing the planes are doing, which is weird because it's just like what I was talking about yesterday, how it kind of reminds me of like World War II planes or something, and how they come in and you just like your brain finishes the sound as they go overhead. You hear the boom, 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 boom. And it's trippy because we have programming inside of us. And, you know, when you start noticing it, like I think a lot of people have their programming and they think they have PTSD, but they don't realize what it is. Like, go the next step. Figure out, like, what is it that is creating the anxiety? Like, there's something in there that is triggering it. You know, some people have the awareness and know, like, oh, loud noises, that's going to give me anxiety right there. Because those loud, sudden noises, because you know, I mean, think about how many lives that you've gone through that you had sudden, you know, something suddenly killed you. You know, there's tons and tons of sudden death that you have when you are transitioning from one reality to the next. You have to, especially, you know, this whole avatar, birth, death, you know, there's a whole process to it. So, you know, there's triggers in us, and we have all of this DNA that gives us, it's like the roots of the plant that we develop from. And just like I said, you know, like we're all, like if you think about the flowers and how unique each flower system and each how they grow and all of that stuff, we're all like that. We all are that unique from each other. And they put so much effort into trying to make us all be the same. And I mean, this thing about Rebel Wilson, like, oh my God, I don't even think that's her. I swear to God, she looks so different. And this got me thinking about this, that so the movie is called Senior Trip or something. I think it's called Senior Trip. And you know, she goes into a coma as a young person and comes out as this older person, and it's supposed to be her when she comes out, but she does not look like her at all. And of course, you know, now she's skinny, but still, think about this. Okay, so when Adele, you know, they made like, you have to lose weight. Why does she have to lose weight? You know, it's not like she's 100 pounds overweight. You know, this is where they create this standard. It's like, you know, if you're taking care of yourself and you're eating right and you're, you know, taking care of yourself, that's each person's individual. You know, if you're taking care of yourself or if you're eating a bunch of junk and never exercising, you know that stuff in your heart. So you know when you're taking good care of yourself and when you're not. And anybody who's taking care of themselves and eating right, your body is the size it's going to be. You are, you know, there's a component to accepting yourself and loving yourself. And like that girl was talking the other day about this, you know, she was so stuck on, you know, I don't remember what numbers she was talking about. Like, if I'm so stuck because I wear a size 12. So anyone who wears a size 12, then they're fat. So I'm fat. So I'm worthless. I have no value. Nobody wants me. I'm just a fat person. You know, you start limiting yourself. You start beating yourself down to become small instead of going like, you know, I'm a size 12, you know, and I'm taking good care of myself. I love myself. I'm beautiful. I'm going to find clothes that look good on me. You know, that's another thing too, what they fuck with people with the numbers. So you got girls that are trying to fit in clothes that are too small, fit in styles that look good on somebody else but don't look good on them. And believe me, I know about this one. Like, especially right now at this time when big old giant bubble butts are like the thing. Like, everybody needs a big butt. And when you don't have that kind of shape, then, you know, I'm not going to go get butt implants like these people. You know, I'm not desperate to have a big old bubble butt. Like, but that is a standard where people start following it. And this is what's sick about the Kardashians, you know. They are like paid promotion. That's all they are. It's just to misdirect people. Get you to chase like $1 million weddings. How many weddings ago was that? How much do you spend on each and every one? Like, you know, you should probably be married to Paul David, or what's his name? the Davidson, I can't think of his name. Is it Paul? The tall guy that was on Saturday Night Live, who now suddenly is just going through the circuit. All these women. It's like, I don't know. It's like you can tell who sells out, who becomes a part of the system, and how desperate are you, like, to, throw all of humanity under the bus so that, you can be hero worshipped or something. It's like weird. But there's definitely people doing it. I mean, the Kardashians have made their fortune off of doing it. Misdirect people, get people to want to go spend tons of money on clothes, and all these girls just change their faces, change their bodies to try and create this standard of beauty that they set that is fake. They're all a surgery. They've all had surgery. They've all they spend all their money on products, makeup, and it's an illusion. They are an illusion. They aren't real. They have no substance, but they've got people who want to be just like them, and setting this beauty standard for others that, I mean, if I sat here every day, oh my God, I don't look like a Kardashian. Oh my God, what am I going to do? I dye my hair. Oh, I got to get a big butt. Oh, I got to squash my waist in. And I just find it so, it's like repulsive. Those people, I can't even stand to see when and their commercials are pushed all the time. I swear to God, those people pop up on your TV every day, several times. They're the most disgusting people. And another one too, I had thought of too, besides Pete Davidson, that's what his name is. I was thinking about somebody. Oh, I was thinking about Jane Fonda. And I was thinking, it's trippy because Jane Fonda she was one of those, beautiful sex kitten girls. She was a leading lady. She was, the beauty standard of the time. Everybody wanted to look like Jane Fonda. She's so beautiful. She's so tiny. She's so cute. And so for that generation, she was, an ideal standard of beauty. And there was a certain point she got really into physical fitness, and it was around the same time as there was a little gay guy, and he had like an afro, and he was silly, but he started doing a lot of tapes and making exercise fun, and he got super, super famous. I can't remember his name. It seems like it was Richard or something, but she was out there at the same time, only she was doing a lot more serious, and she was making tapes like aerobics. That's when they came up. That's when I remember hearing about aerobics, was Jane Fonda. And she started doing all this stuff with aerobics, and, and it was a time when people were still thin, they were just starting to add all of the additives and stuff to our food. Like I said, I remember it so specifically because they started marketing astronaut food. Oh, this is what the astronauts eat. This is what the astronauts drink. Tang. Don't drink orange juice. Tang. Drink Tang. That's what the astronauts drink. And then I remember these sticks. It kind of reminds me of dog treats now, but there are these sticks, and they were kind of a weird substance, probably half human, and we would eat them, and they were called like peanut butter sticks or something. I don't remember, but it's astronaut food. This is what the astronauts eat while they're up in space. They're eating this. This is what's going to keep you healthy. You got to eat the sticks and drink your Tang. And how that has manifested into what has happened to people with being full of fillers and additives, and what it's done to people's weight and stuff. But so around that time when they were starting that, she was out there, pushing about being healthy and exercising and making all these tapes, and got a lot of women super excited. I just watched an old movie the other day, and it was all about the aerobics class too. That wasn't the whole movie what it was about. It was a drama. It had Mary Tyler Moore, and I can't remember, I think it was Christine Lottie or something. I can't remember. Another person I recognize. And it had Ted Danson. So it was an older movie. And these two women, both, one of them was having an affair with the husband, and they didn't know each other. Then they met, and then they became friends. And the husband dies and all of this stuff. But it was all about this exercise class. They met at this exercise class. Mary Tyler Moore starts becoming the exercise person, and she is super, super skinny. Everyone in this movie was so skinny, I couldn't believe it. Like every bone in their body is sticking out. But they were, that during that time of how much exercise was promoted, even the clothes were tiny. All these girls, and they'd walk around like, let's go get an ice cream in our tiny little swimsuits with tights. So they would, go around and people would wear that kind of stuff. I don't remember people thinking anything about it. I don't remember there being, just like the same thing where they try and tell us like we weren't accepting of, people who were not gender identified. It's like, well, how did we have these people that were so famous? And I mean, the guy from Aerosmith, he was so fucking flamboyant. The guy from Queen, David Bowie, like we had people that we loved, that we always listened to their music. We weren't like, you're not a boy all the way. No. It's just ridiculous. It's the way they turn and flip information and create this bullshit. It's just bullshit. If you didn't live back then, you don't know. If you're a generation now and they're telling you, we're the leaders in this. We're progressive. We are all taking this to the next level. Accept yourself. Don't define yourself. You're no gender. It's like, why did you get born with a penis or a vagina then? And I thought somebody made such a good point the other day, because they were saying, in the future, when they just find bodies laying, the bones of bodies, you think they're going to go in and go like, oh, I'm not sure if this one was a boy or a girl. When they're just changing that part, it doesn't change your inside. So your bones, when they find you, you're going to be what you were born as. So, I mean, this argument that they create is so ridiculous, especially when they try and say how necessary it is. Oh, this is necessary. These past generations, they're just, judgmental and stuff. Well, okay. So, anyways, the Jane Fonda thing. So, what's interesting is she's out promoting health and taking care of yourself. And then suddenly she marries Ted Turner. And I kept trying to think about this morning. Like, okay, so when she married him, did she do any tapes after that? Because I remember her becoming like an activist, like, oh, we need to direct them this way. We don't want to worry about health. And, like the elite, the people who get up there and don't think just because somebody's rich and they are able to, go to the same party, they're still the segregated, the original family, the one that, the illuminated ones who believe they're over the rest of us. They believe they are the gods of this place. So any of the other people who participate, like a Ted Turner, like I don't know how he's linked to a Rothschild, say, but, any new money, then you would not have the same, you wouldn't be privy to the same stuff, but you would be a minion. You'd be somebody who needs to get out there and push the agenda. And just like I said, what they do, how they go out with headhunters and find these people in society and then, pull them out and bring them in and put them into positions of power, build them up and, give them, there's no telling. Like when they're being trained, they're probably MK Ultra'd all the time. The whole thing is just ridiculous. So, with Jane Fonda, I start thinking, so she gets taken by one of these elite minions, are like, oh, you better get her, we got to shut her up. We can't have people exercising, especially, somebody who's got some clout out there telling other women, oh, look, you can take care of yourself and love yourself and just do this, jump around your house and all this stuff. And, they're like, shut it down. So, Ted Turner rushes in, romances her, takes her in, and it's like, what my wife would, it's really important if you get out there, bring a lot of attention to this, bring a lot of attention to that. And, she doesn't even realize that she's a puppet. I mean, I don't think that because she did leave him, and, he's rotten as fuck. I mean, when we start seeing, like, whose name keeps coming up and certain people, they're rotten as fuck. And I was like, oh my God, that is the same thing as a handler. They don't want us to go in a certain direction, and somebody, any of us that get out there and have any kind of say, then they need to shut it down and shut them up. Just like I said, like these people who find cures of things, and, they're in prison. They have a different thing that they'll do for everybody. I mean, Jane Fonda just so happened to get married and, live on, flying around in private jets all over the place and having this good life for a while, until she realized probably how fucking corrupt the people are that she is hanging out with. And, but it's the same thing. So if you think about, like, with Adele, I thought it was so weird when, she's beautiful. She's like Kate Winslet, not everybody is tiny, we're all different. And, and I don't know her personal, what would the word be? Her personal stuff, how she eats and what she does. If she drinks a lot of alcohol, she's always eating out at restaurants, and there's things that she could do to improve her body, then that's one thing, because it's important to take care of yourself. But if you are taking care of yourself and then you are at a size that is not obese, it's just maybe a little bigger than you want it to be, you don't have to starve yourself to try and fit into this ideal standard. And then when they did that, and all of a sudden, she's so skinny. She's just skinny now. And I was like, that doesn't even look like her. Are we even sure that's really her? How would we know? Like, when they have this dramatic weight loss and suddenly they're another person, how do we know, like, Adele wasn't like, no, I'm not playing along with this. I'm not going to be, a spokesperson for evil. I'm not going to go out and push your agenda. And so then they, do they MK Ultra her right then and, starve her to death? Or do they just, what they did to Dave Chappelle, just take him out and put somebody else in their place? And even, I think some of these people who are like slot holders for people who built up their own persona, they built up their own platform in whatever way they did it. Like Adele was singing, Rebel Wilson with acting, Dave Chappelle with jokes. He was kind of, he took a lot of political stand, a lot of truth, a lot of, like, common sense. That's what I think made it funny, because, some of the stuff was common sense and he would point it out. So, and if you go in and you listen about the stuff, what his cousin said about what went on and about why he left and went to Africa, what happened when he went back. And it was after that meeting that they wanted him to meet with, that she said he would never speak to her again. He wouldn't call her, wouldn't talk to her, and they were best friends. And then she starts saying, that's not him. And a lot of people who were his big fans were saying, that's not him. He doesn't act the same on stage and stuff. But how many of these people who are put into those slots, like, that guy probably really believes he's him. He probably, is MK Ultra. They tell him, hey, this is who you are. This is who you are. And like I said the other day, where they are, what was it in the movie Forgotten? It was making such a thing about the MK Ultra, how they can wipe your mind and give people different backstories. They said it right there in the movie, and it's being done around us. And I think that some of those people, like, I don't know about Adele, like, before she ever lost weight and stuff, there was already so many people saying that she had shapeshifted in front of people, and people were like, oh my God, she shapeshifted, and they were freaking out. And the whole story was supposedly there was fans sitting there, getting signed. She shapeshifted because it's harder for them to hold themselves in when they're real exhausted. And it was during when they were, pounding her to the pavement of, go out and do all these different shows. And, she was exhausted, and she was signing him, and she shapeshifted into a reptilian. This is the story. I don't know. I wasn't there. But I had heard this way before. This is when I was hearing about reptilians. There was a whole thing about Jay-Z, and he got on a plane and he looked really gray. People were saying he looked like really shitty. And he got on the plane and he started not being able to hold his, and he started shape-shifting, and the plane was full. And people were doing footage. They said he turned into like a gray, sickly looking reptilian. They said he looked really, really sick and old. And he was breathing weird. And so all these people started videotaping it, and it just started going on Twitter like crazy. And all of a sudden it just crashed. They took all of those videos. They crashed the whole thing to hide this stuff. This is what they do. And, you know, to me, everything that I hear that is totally wackadoo now, I'm like, probably happened. Nothing's too crazy anymore. But it was the same kind of thing with Adele. She was standing there, and as she was signing stuff, she started switching. And the girls that were there said she started crying. And, you know, that she didn't want to be doing what they were making her do. And I was like, weird. So Adele, these famous people, how many of them are really reptilian shapeshifters? And so I was on that then. Then she became super skinny, and she didn't even look like herself. And then I was like, okay, weird. So what changed? It wasn't just her weight that changed. I mean, now she just looks weird, but it doesn't even look like her face. So is it that they just took her out and put a new person in? Does that new person even know they're not the original person? And they have the abilities, you know, I mean, we saw it with several different singers. I swear to God, even Britney Spears got caught lip syncing. But who was that? Milli Vanilli or something? There was a band that got caught. They were really hot, black guys. You know, they're probably trying to get people to like, because Michael Jackson was so popular. I mean, he was the first guy I fell madly in love with as a teen, teen heartthrob. Was Roddy McDowell, then it was Michael Jackson. Michael Jackson was just, oh my God, he was so cute. So that's probably why they push certain people into places. They watch us, we're experiment. They watch us, and then they know how to confront issues, move it. It's like playing chess, only we don't realize that we're in the game and they're playing chess. So, you know, we have to wake up to how we're being moved around. And so with Adele, you know, I think there's something weird about it. And then all of a sudden with Rebel Wilson, it's like, okay, that does not even look like her. So is it for real that they are, you know, the person won't play along and says, oh no, you know, I don't really want to do that. Then they just, you know, wipe them out. Well, you've already got a following. We really need your following. So we're just going to, you know, poison you, give you a little heart attack. You can die. We'll feed you to your fans. Don't worry about that. And then, you know, we have this other girl. She looks kind of like her. We'll just mind slate her, put her in, and tell her that's who she is. And then the rest of us are all just sitting there like, wait a minute, does that look right? But look at what a perfect time it is to do it when they lose weight like that. Oh, look, they lost so much weight. You know, that's why they look different. Just like with the Dave Chappelle thing. Dave Chappelle was always like lanky and skinny. And then suddenly after he became the new and improved Dave Chappelle, he became beefy and muscular. And everybody who knew him was like, he was not a gym rat. He was not somebody who cared about stuff like that. He wasn't somebody who was going to go in and become, you know, Mr. Bodybuilder. So their whole personality changes. Their whole state of being changes. No, I think that there's manipulation going on, and it's always to direct us. They're always playing this game with us. We're the pieces. We're the experiment. And it is, I think it's a protein peptide or something. Like there's certain unique things in our DNA, like I was talking about before, and they know how to target certain people. And so they're absolutely killing certain groups of people. And then other ones, like people are being really outraged. And I had seen this footage last year sometime, but I guess it's a whole bunch of it now coming out because they're showing it on Fox and stuff. And they are sealing it. This broke my heart when I saw it because it was fucking horrible. It had big buildings, like high rises, because, you know, in these cities, we can't worry about what's out here. You know, we don't need that land. We all need to cram into this little place, a little cement jungle with high rise buildings. No, you know, metal is not the same kind of energy as wood, you know. There's a coldness to metal, and they fill us in this concrete metal jungle. And look at how that is an interference too, how it would pick up on energy. Like, I'm telling you, there's such a hum in your house. There's so much interference going on in our heads. It's shocking that we're not all just out there like, you know, like a bunch of crazy people off a Twilight Zone episode, running through the streets, tipping over cars and shit, because they're clogging our heads up with so much fucking noise. And it's hard to find your peace, you know. And, you know, you can go out into nature and try and find some. I would say water is always the best way, because that sound will override the other sound. Go sit by the ocean and listen to the waves break. Go sit by a stream. Go sit by a waterfall. You know, it really retunes you, balances you, because they fill it with noise. Everywhere in this, you know, magic city that they create for us is noise. It's a noise that we can't really hear, but it's just in there humming in our heads. All this fucking noise all the time. So, what was I gonna say? So, anyways, the MK Ultra, that all that stuff is for real. That they are doing stuff. When I was watching that movie, Conspiracy Theory, that's what the whole thing is about. Is that he is like a rogue one, that he was trained and then he went rogue. He didn't do what he was supposed to do, and he's on the run. And, you know, the CIA and all of these NSA and everybody's chasing him, saying he's a problem, he's a danger, because he's, you know, he didn't go kill somebody when they told him, and now he's on the run, so he's a danger. You know, we got to be on danger. You know, it's like, no, it's all of you guys chasing him. You're the danger. But it goes through all the stuff about MK Ultra and, you know, what they do and why they do it and stuff. And it was developed, they said in the movie, to create super soldiers. Well, I think it's just to have like dominion over us. It's just to control us without us knowing that we're being controlled, because it's all about consciousness. It's all about energy. Everything here that we're dealing with is all about them to get our energy, to focus our consciousness, direct our consciousness where they want it directed, so they can siphon off our energy to something outside of us that we are told doesn't even exist. It's like, you know, but you have to start looking into some of this stuff. You have to stop believing because they tell you something doesn't exist, that means it doesn't exist, because it does exist. And aliens aren't scary monsters. Ghosts aren't scary. None of this stuff that they create is scary. It's just spirits. It's just souls. It's just energy. It's just, you know, all of the souls out there that aren't in the projection. They aren't in the reality. They're not in the experience. They're out there cheering you along, you know. Not every soul, like everybody thinks, like, because there's so many people in the world, like, that's so many souls. How could there be that many souls? And all these souls out there on other planets and all these, because it is energy. It's consciousness. It's energy that gets consciousness. It's energy that develops itself. And you have free energy out there. You have energy out there that has not defined itself, that still is trying to understand and identify itself. And that's where you get like these pockets of evil, you know, that they don't even understand themselves. So somebody who's creating evil, somebody who's doing all this stuff and pulling these energies in to create something evil, they're pulling in energies that don't have really an identity. So we once we get to this point of being able to incarnate, we create an identity for ourselves. We go in and we understand ourselves by playing these roles. So that's what everything's about. And then this misdirection of how they control your what is that word? What you're focused on. They pull it in and get you to focus on what they want. They create fear to keep control. They create drama so that you don't have time to stop and think and take care of yourself. They give you feeding times. I swear to God, I saw a commercial yesterday. The commercials are just blowing my mind. You know, when they just come right out and say, and it's a commercial just to tell you, think smart. No, be smart. Get somebody else to do your work for you. Even, you know, your vacuum. Have your vacuum go pick up your beer for you, because that's smart. And it was another thing. Oh, yes. It was so it's a new little timer. You know, just like we gotta have a toothbrush timer, because we don't know when to stop. We'll just sit there all day long, like, I don't know when to stop. And this one it's a timer that it will tell you when to take your medicine, because you know how hard it is to remember to take your medicine. Well, now we have this great new, it's like a little Alexa, and it's programmed to tell you when to take your medicine, because you don't want to miss your medicine. How obvious do they have to be for people to start seeing, like, they're developing things to make sure I take my medicine? Why do they care so much that I don't miss my medicine? It's more than just, you know, the island that they are trying to buy or something. It is about this reduction in population and keeping you sick while you're here, you know, because then you take all their little magic pills. You don't take care of yourself. That's crazy. That's not being smart. Like, no, you know, you gotta be smart and listen to them. Trust them. It's the science. It's all just fucking marketing to your ego. You know, that's why they use these words like smart, and it's all ego fed, ego driven. That's why I said all of the people who I know who are still not awakened, they are very ego driven. They're very, very ego driven. And that's why I said these people who are still asleep, you don't want to, as they're waking up, you don't want to start being like, I told you, because you're just going to push them right back in their shell. You know, their ego is there to protect them, and their ego is out of control. And they can't imagine no possible way somebody could pull something over on me like this. They just don't realize, because when you are being driven by your ego, it cuts you off from your soul. You know, it is this battle, like these two things inside of you, the wolf, the two sides of you, and your soul is one side and your ego is the other. It's like when you're choosing teams in elementary school, it's like the ego is one of the team people and the soul is the other. And, you know, your soul has a lot of people. Like I said, you've got a lot of people on your team. You may not be able to see them, but they're there. And you can tap in and you can feel them. It's in your energy. It's in you tap into your soul. You can feel and hear things that your avatar doesn't have the same experience, because your avatar is more focused on ego, like, and your ego will be like, oh, don't do that, you know, you can't do that, you got to do this. And it is what directs you into conforming. You know, you got to be like everybody else. You don't want to be the weirdo. You got to do this, you got to be like them, you know. But your soul is like, no, you don't want to be like them, you want to be like you. You have to listen to me, listen to yourself. You know, it is like your soul is like a microphone from your higher self speaking through into your avatar to tell you, you know, who you need to be, what you want to be, who you want to be here in this world. And we get born into this world, and then those controllers of this realm, they start, you know, focusing, pulling your consciousness into their world. So you stop living your world. You stop living what your plan is, and you start living on their plan. And then they know how to, get ego to be out of control. They develop narcissism and arrogance and all of that stuff with this ego that's out of control. And so, these people, it's really important to not start being confrontational with them when they're waking up, because we need them to wake up. Especially now when you see how bad things are. Now I'm freaked out to take a bath. And I was already thinking about the chemicals in the tub. And I put my Epsom salts and that carbon clay. And then other people are saying also add baking soda. And, there was another one that people are putting in. It was like a 4 ingredient. There's all sorts of soaks out there you can see that supposedly pull out some of these toxins. But when we're sitting in a tub of toxins and we're trying to pull the toxins out, especially when we start realizing that we're sitting in a fucking vat of poison and it's absorbing. We know everything in us absorbs. So we are absorbing those poisons right into us. And, like I had said before with the faucet water, I had stopped drinking that. I don't remember. I'd have to go back and watch all the videos to see. It seems like it was sometime in the summer or something, and I was talking about like what I had been noticing, like the plant water that was killing my plants. Now the no sun is killing my plants, but the water. And then even when I started doing the rainwater, at first the rainwater was doing really great, but then there started being a shift when they started having this one weather system after another. The water suddenly, Stella started smelling it. I can always tell. Pay attention to what your dog does with the water and stuff. When they go up and they smell it and they're like, ooh, I don't know about that. And it's like, then your plants, tune into your plants and notice like when the water is hurting them. So when I was drinking the water before and I started noticing like I have like these electrical shocks all over my body. Could this be from the water? Like there's got to be some common denominator, especially when I know how much Stella suffers with her inflammation, with her arthritis, because that has like flare-ups. So when I stopped drinking the water and I started going and getting that, supposedly clean stream, supposedly an underground stream that has a pipe that's coming out, and people have tested it, but fuck, I don't fucking know anymore. I swear to God. But when I started drinking that water, it totally changed. I stopped getting those electrical shocks all over my body. So I started being like, there's something to the water. Plus the way you can smell the chemicals. And plus when you know that they are taking actual sewage and turning it into a clear substance that comes out of your faucet. Like they just constantly recycle. Like when they came up with their recycle program, it was because they were recycling they were recycling sewage, all of this stuff that they recycle and put back into us. And then we go around feeling like, why am I so sick? Why is my hair falling out? Why do I feel so sluggish? Why do I keep gaining weight? It is them. It's what they're doing to us. And, we have to really start paying attention and notice like, okay, I can't drink the water. But there is, like I was thinking about this. Okay, so I wouldn't do the faucet water at all. I would still try and find some other water. Even like Walmart. They've got their water thing. You can go down there and fill your big things. But man, they are definitely here to kill us. So yeah, I wouldn't trust the water coming out of there. Every single place. It's like faucet water, like they've got such a hold on us. It's absolute insanity. You go out in the lake and you get water, or a stream or something, and you get the water. You could, if you watch like Naked and Afraid and stuff, like what they do, they even, will dig a hole and get an underground stream, and then that's your cleanest water. And then there's a thing that you can build, and it has with sand and charcoal to filter it to get the stuff out of the water so you have clean water. And that would probably be the cleanest. But that's crazy how many people can go out in their yard and dig a hole and find clean water and then build a filter system. The only way to stop them from killing us is for us to put a stop to it. The only way to put a stop to it is like, we can't go in like guns blazing. Like, I know people get themselves all worked up and really mad, like, oh, we just got to go in and, you know, guns blazing and taking them out and stuff. But how would we know where to begin? I mean, we'd have to go to, you know, one of their places, one of their meeting places. And then there's always more people involved. Like, there's a big group, just like what Trump was saying. Like, I had no idea how big this swamp really was. And it is like, so we can't just go in. The biggest thing is getting everyone to wake up. When everybody wakes up, it's the energetic. That's what's going to create our change. It is for people to see. That's why you don't want to, you know, if they're starting to see, you don't want to, you know, cut them off so you can make sure you knew, like, I told you this. You know, we don't want to do that. We need this energetic awakening to occur, because that is what's going to set everything and go in the other direction. They can't, when we're all watching them, and they've got 90% of the population with their eyes on them and knowing that, I mean, it's plus when you see the ridiculousness that they try and trick us and tell us, like, I mean, it's just becoming so clear. It's so absurd, some of the stuff they say. And how, I mean, how much of those absurd stuff were they saying and we were all asleep and playing along? Or has it just gotten more absurd? Like, I don't know, but it's fucking absurd. But everybody has to start recognizing it. And then when they do, and that shift that happens with our energy that is going to take us in the other direction, that is what we have to work towards. I don't see it as being productive as, you know, we're going to go out and start, you know, trying to shoot these people and have shootouts in the streets and shit like that. That doesn't seem like that would work. I saw yesterday too, I think it was, maybe it was Quebec, because it seemed like it was Canada. No, maybe it was France, because I know that they were speaking French. But they were at the PF building, and they were all down there protesting and screaming and yelling. Like, people are waking up en masse and knowing who our enemy is. So we don't want to be pairing up against each other. You know, we need to allow people to start to awaken for themselves. Like, as they're waking up, when, you know, your mom's yelling, get ready for school, and your brother won't get up. And every time he opens his eyes, you go in and punch him in the face and walk back out. Like, is that productive? No, you're going to be late for school. So we need to allow these people to wake up and start seeing what we're seeing, because we're seeing the truth. They're just seeing through the illusion. They're seeing what they're being told to see, and they haven't seen the truth yet. So when the truth happens, that is what the shift that's going to take us in the other direction. That's where they're going to just, you know, they're going to fall. Their Roman Empire that they've created is going to be the fall of that empire, because, you know, it's not about us having to do anything other than see the truth. We just have to see through the illusion. And, you know, that's going to manifest in a lot of different ways. Like, people are, you know, already leaving the cities and going out and trying to create co-ops and stuff to grow food and build communities. And people are seeing like what they need to do. They have internal guidance, and they're going and doing that. And so it's all shifting. It's all happening. Oh, so in China with the high rise stuff, and China's always their beta, right? I mean, the souls that come into China are coming there for, you know, hellacious lives. So I swear to God. And so they, now they're saying they've got such a horrible outbreak, which now this outbreak is spreading now, you know, like Philadelphia or something now is like, oh, we got to mandate again. We got to, you know, you got to get that on. The only reason you should have that on is the fucking chemicals that are in the sky. It's not for the sickness. Like, this is ridiculous. But, so they're going in, and all these people in these high rises, the one I had seen, the guys were like in hazmat suits, and they were nailing the doors shut. They were pounding them like big bars going across and trapping the people in their homes. And they're starving them and stuff. And I guess They're doing something with their pets. They're taking their pets. They're taking their kids. They're killing, it's like the gas chambers. And so there's a huge amount of murder happening. But they are also, I mean, they're so heartless that they are just leaving these people in there to starve to death. I mean, when you're trapped in a building and you only, I mean, a Dahmer, it's got Dahmer party written all over it. Like, it's horrible what they're doing. It's just absolutely horrible. And I think there's people jumping out of the windows and stuff, like, the towers. So it's just, it's fucked. It's horrible. And, it's scary when you can't even, your body needs water. I drink so much water, and your body needs water. And then that's, of course, we're made up of water. So it's the most logical thing. I mean, these people are evil geniuses, 100%. They are horrible. And we have a lot we can learn from them, because they are genius, the stuff that they've come up with, let's put it in the water. And, and speaking of water, I did go in yesterday, and I was just studying those naval maps. I'm pulling them up. I'm trying to figure out, like, where would my house be? And it does, from their map, the one I was looking at yesterday. Well, I looked at a few, but it does look like I'm in a safe place. It looks like, but I did notice, like, most of Oregon's gone, most of Colorado, most of the West Coast. The West Coast is going to be completely just a big giant chunk cut out of it. And, this is their own projection. This is their own projection. So most of the West Coast will be taken out. And then the West Coast, or the East Coast, and the Gulf was kind of shaved, but there was a big dip. Louisiana is gone. And then the Mississippi spreads out and becomes way, way huger. So there'll be, kind of like the positive part of it would be there's a lot more water for us to, because it's in our DNA or whatever, to be by water. And for most of us, I think it has been a part of the evolution of beings, is that they would always have to find places that there was water. So I think we're always kind of drawn towards, where's the water? I got to be close to water. And, when they create their cities, they limit us on the water, and then they make it super, super expensive. The people who live, like, on the river in Spokane, those houses are super expensive. Then they start selling condos downtown. They took an area in Spokane that would have been, segregated ghetto area right outside of downtown, where the drug addicts, not the homeless are completely everywhere downtown Spokane, under the bridge, everywhere. And it's always been that way. And then the river, it's this beautiful river that runs through the middle of downtown, and across the river, then where they had this, like, ghetto that they created, then that's where a lot of, because I used to have to go into it all the time when I was a psych nurse to go see my clients, my patients. I'd go down there, and I started seeing, like, the environment and stuff, and, all these people who have these cool old houses that have become run down, and then they just turn them into, what are those things called? Slumlord houses. And all of these people who are on state insurance, and the state, the amount of money that they give them. I think when these people are mentally ill, they get, like, it seems like, see, I think that is something with, there's something about that in what he was talking about yesterday. It does something with our breathing, and you can go in and watch it. But I think that this has something to do with the poison. But anyways, the people who are mentally ill, they'll get like $700 or something a month. And then you have these houses that, and everything is regulated, government regulated, because they create it. They create the stuff that they say happens accidentally, but they create it. So then these people, they'll take a house and they'll cram them all in there, a whole bunch of them. And then they'll have people there working and stuff, but it's very, like you wouldn't want your family living like that. Like if your daughter said, oh, I'm going to move out, I'm going to move down, and she took you down to show you where she was going to be living, you'd be like, no, I don't want you living like this. No, this is not good. So, but they put these people they drug them up and put them into these places and then abandon them kind of. And so this whole area became all of this drug addicts and mentally ill people, and the houses were becoming really shitty. And then you had the part that went over by the river. So you had this, and then the river. So they decide, hey, you know what we'll do? Let's just go on the other side of these houses, right up next to the river, and let's put in these $1 million condos. We're just going to fill it with $1 million condos. So that started building the place up, where it started being more people wanting to move down there because, oh man, now it's exclusive. And they have, selling these $1 million condos, and people start trying to fix their house. So then, there's no place for these poor people to go, because now they're coming in and taking it away from them, jacking up the price and stuff. So, it's like corral them into another place that's worse than this place, and then sell these houses so people can go in and fix them up, which is always good to fix up the houses, but there always is the trash that they're getting rid of. And, where did those people go? They even showed that on Shameless a lot. I thought that they made a good point of that. When you have a place where people have been living for a long time and they're poor, and then the rich people think, hey, this is where we want to be, and just, knock them out, make it too expensive for them to be able to survive there. And then they're on their own, go back downtown, live in a tent, and then we have all of these mentally ill people who are not being taken care of, who are, out living on the streets. And desperate people will do desperate things. So they create so much desperation in this world. And they make the plans and stuff. So they take these waterways and then they jack up the price. But if the water does rise, it's going to be a completely different landscape. And there's going to be a lot more water. And there's going to be the growing area, the flyover part will be a lot more. I think that there's going to be a lot more people just spread out. I don't think we're going to be all jam-packed on top of ourselves going up instead of out. That's what they want to do. It's all their stuff that they want to do is how we're living. We're not living in our natural way at all. We're living in a way that they have created the chessboard. They've made it the way they want. But we have to recognize that for ourselves so we can move out of that and get ourselves into something that's better for us. But you have to know what's better for you. You have to recognize like this noise in the cities that they create makes you feel anxious. But no, they just tell you you've got anxiety and they've got a pill. Then depression. They do all of these things to create depression. And then instead of telling you how to work on, separating yourself from that, they just tell you, hey, I got a pill for you. I got a pill right out here. And that's all it is, all the time. We've got a pill, we got a pill, we got a pill. We got a machine now, it'll tell you, remind you to take your pills. We got a toothbrush, it'll remind you, you better brush your teeth. And, they're just stopping people from thinking for themselves. It's the whole creation of their droid society. And the target is the kids. I mean, it's not just like, oh yeah, we want to teach your 3-year-old how to masturbate. No, what happens when that 3-year-old grows up, and if they can still have kids, has a child, do they even know how to raise a family? Are they, at what point then it's like, oh, here, you can take my child, she, who wants to teach her how to masturbate? Like, they need to teach us how to do stuff that comes naturally. It's like, what the fuck? Anyways, I know I'm going on for a long time because there's so many things about this, and there's so much that we just have to wake up. We have to start thinking for ourselves. We got to get out of our egos, stop attacking other people, let them wake up. because it is the shift. As they're staying asleep, we have to start being the trailblazers, the pathfinders. We got to start finding the paths to freedom, to how we get out of the system, how we start producing our own food, how we start networking and becoming communities, and how we grow. That is the evolution. We are the evolution of mankind. It's up to us to take our parts, to take our stand, to walk the road. And it doesn't matter that we don't have everybody walking with us. They're still back there looking at the flowers and, smelling the flowers in the pasture or whatever. They're still stuck on the illusion. God, this is horrible. So, but we have to keep going. We can't stop because they don't know that we have to keep going, that there's a storm a-coming, and we have to prepare for the storm, and we have to be ready. We have to be thinking, like, where are we going to get our food? How's this going to go down? Oh yeah, and I'll say another thing about the fridge. This is weird. So I had gotten all my food out, took it to the neighbor. I was calling around trying to find somebody to come out, and it's an ordeal. And especially now with the shortage, and because of COVID, we can't do this because of, oh my God, damn. So, it causes limitations for us. They create all this bullshit. And then, so my neighbor, he's an HVAC guy. So I thought, well, he knows a little bit about small machinery. So I'll ask him if he knows anything about fridges. And he was like, well, I don't want to touch your fridge. That would mess it up. If there's any warranty and I scratch a screw or something, they can tell you your warranty isn't valid anymore. So you should wait and talk to them. Calling Whirlpool, then they're like, oh, it's a couple weeks out, and you can set up an appointment to talk to somebody, and they will tell you. So they can say, it's like, okay, so I won't have a fridge for a few weeks to talk to you. But so he told me, well, go in and turn up the thermostat and see if it comes on. So I did, and it came on. And so I turned it up, and it came on. It was running and running and running for hours and hours and hours. So then I was like, okay, so if it's still running tomorrow, I'll get my food back and put it back in. So I keep going in and checking. And this morning when I got stuff out, you usually get stuff out and you shut it and it will kick itself back on and turn it back on. And it's not doing that. It's like I have to go in and move the thermostat to get it to get cold, which, I'm going to do that for now. But obviously there's something in the mechanics, the thermostat, something is going out of this new refrigerator. But everything they make is all just bullshit stuff that they charge us a lot of money so they can funnel that money back into their laundering system. And we're, going out and working hard so that we can buy the stuff that's going to break here in a couple of days. It's just like, oh my God. See how they create so much frustration? They create so much animosity. They create so much anger and resentment and sadness. They create it all with everything that they are doing all the time to manipulate our system and manipulate our lives. But, as long as we play our part, then we allow it. And I know it sounds crazy to people when you say, the only thing we can do is just to keep pulling free and waking up, because people think like, no, this is when we got to go out. We got to take a stand. We've got to, cuss our last stand and fight them. But they fight dirty. We don't have it. You got to remember, even if you have a place that was like, a whole city that came and, all this whole city was awake, and they're going to go down to the courthouse and they're going to march in and they're going to start taking people out. Well, you just have a flyover and, missiles would drop and that place would cease to exist. And they'd say, Russia now has bombed them. And, they just come up with their lame ass backstory to tell us. And then everybody's, oh my God, they're bombing us over here now. Oh my God, what am I going to do? So yeah, we don't want to push them to do something more dastardly. And like I was saying, there's something different now with these planes flying over. They literally sound like World War II planes. They don't even, there's something weird. There's something really weird going on. That's all I can say. Like, everything is so freaking weird. And it is, it's all about this waking up to what this reality is, waking up to what you truly are, waking up to the fact that you're not really even here, that you just think you're here. So you're caught up in this story, but you're not really here. And yeah, they can do all of this stuff to us, to our avatar, and we can believe that this stuff is all really happening, but they really can't hurt us. They really can't kill us. They can just cause us damage to our existence while we're focused on this reality, but it's nothing that will stay with us. It's not like, even if we die, it's just a transition out of here. It's like each person who dies, it's like they've had enough. They're like, I'm out of here. You guys are on your own. And but it is really, it's a movie. We're in an Armageddon movie. We're in an end of the world movie, and they've shown us all their movies. They've shown us what their plans are, and we should have awareness. Like, go in and watch different movies, and you see their plans. I mean, there's a huge thing now with them pushing. Oh, that Dovik, that was just the beginning. Oh my God, we got such a more serious the demic of pan. We've got such a bigger one coming. Oh my God, it's so much worse. And it's coming from the birds. It's the birds, It's the birds. They're killing us now. It's the bats. It's the birds. It's the monkeys. Yeah, it's all of that. No, it's them. And they are putting this stuff now to know that, they're injecting HIV and, the stuff the poison that comes out of the wiggle things. Your body is under so much stress. And even though it's a hologram, this is, this hologram life, this reality that we are experiencing, it feels really real. You will go through the experiences of being poisoned when you are having that, because you're here to experience it. You're here to have this experience. We're here to have the experience of waking up and growing and evolving out of this society that they created, evolving and creating something new, because it's a new age, the new age of Aquarius, the golden age. We are the creators of that. And we have to, start seeing our part that we're playing so that we can release it, and then we can rebuild and build something new and better and different. But like I've said, it would be a crazy thing for us to think like, oh, well, we need to go out and, march on where? We're going to march on the Vatican? What are we going to do? Go find which house, which island the Rothschilds and stuff are staying? No, I really do believe that these people are being arrested. I really do believe a lot of this stuff that is being shown to us is just so that we can understand what's happening. Because when they start saying this person's arrested, we would be like, what? What's going on? We wouldn't understand. We have to be shown so that when we understand, like, oh, these people are arrested, these people have been taken out, these people are in prison, these people, all of the different things, that we will understand why. But, the stuff is still going, and it is absurd, and they are mass murdering. Just like I said, they do have central places that are going to be hit much harder. And there's a plan for every place. And America is, their last stand. I mean, they really want to take us over. But like I said before, Trump figured out how to surround them, how to cut them off from their money. He took off the tentacles of the beast. So it's kind of like a big old beast out there with a couple of tentacles, and it is just out there like, what do I do? What do I do? And all of us are seeing now. We're seeing through it, and we are seeing the truth. And that's how we create change. It's very simple how we create change, and we don't have to go to their level and start murdering. I mean, we don't want to be clogging up this system with more crime and more depression and stuff like that. We want them, all we can do, I think, is just keep spreading the word, but don't be in people's faces about it. Just stand strong in your inner knowing, in your belief, and take care of yourself. Do things that literally take care of you, eating right and movement and finding a time of peace so you can align and find that balance in yourself. Those are the things that we need to really get focused on. And it's scary, and everything that you go to consume, that you're just like, what's this going to do to me? What's this got in it? What's this got on it? I mean, we are up against a rock, and we don't have a lot of choices, and we are a lot more powerful than what they want us to believe. And I think the more that you just take care of yourself, and the more you try and keep an upbeat, positive attitude, and I really do believe that we pick our timelines every minute of every day. We're picking what timeline we're on, and everything's available. Just like I was showing with those star thing and that experience, what they showed me when they pulled me into that, like it seemed like a tornado, but I said it was like the lines of a record, and everything was realities, and everything was right there. Like you could go out into any reality. It was like being in a portal, and then you go out into any reality. They're everywhere around us. And that is we have so much more abilities. We have so much more abilities to be able to shift our reality. And so, in this time, I just keep trying to stay on this reality of like, I'm going to keep speaking the truth. I'm going to keep being, taking care of myself. I'm going to keep with my hope for the future and stay positive and stay loving. Don't let them get me down with their depression, and my stomach is so growling, their depression and their division and stuff, to stay true to myself and stay centered and keep myself on the timeline where, it is going to be in the age of Aquarius. Because if you switch and you start going like, oh, I'm going to die, I'm going to die, I'm going to die, that's it, they're poisoning me, I'm going to die, I'm going to die, then you're going to die. That, you will. You're on that timeline. You put yourself on that timeline. It was always going to happen that way, because you're always where you're supposed to be at all times. So, if that's how you feel, then you probably are like, this is my out. Sorry, guys, I'm going. I'm done with this one. I'll see you in the new one. That is, they create us to fear it, and it's so dramatic and stuff when people die, but really it's just people like, okay, bye. I'm done here. So that is, they're just going into another room. They're just going on another line in that solar system, that the stars, all of that energy around, they're just moving into another reality. And all of them are around here, and they'll still be out there talking to you. But if you are here and you feel like you're here for the golden age, the age of Aquarius, like I've said, just keep yourself really focused on your health and centered, and keep your faith. Keep your faith alive. Keep your hope. Hold on to hope and faith, and realize, that you are a conscious being. We are learning about, we have control. Spend time healing your body with your mind, focusing on everything in your body, and see it as thriving and being healthy and well, because we have that ability. So, that's what I keep trying to do. My hair keeps falling out, but one thing too, as I know a lot of people's hair is falling out. So this, and you're trying to go natural stuff, sweet almond oil, and then you also get, it's another oil. Oh, dang it. What is it? Was it rose hips? I'll have to look. But you put that extract in the oil, and it is got the same, this is natural, but it's the same kind of stuff that they put in like Rogaine and stuff, because and isn't that coincidence, as people's hair is falling out, and all of a sudden we have a new pill, and we got freaking Jada is gonna be out there, telling us, because she struggled with this for so long, she's a great representative for us, because this is just part of being alive in their world, is your hair's gonna fall out, but they've got a magic pill. Well, stop poisoning me and my hair will stop falling out. So anyways, the almond, sweet almond oil, and the something extract, you could probably look it up, because I got it from somebody else telling me, and I looked it up, and it was out there as being marketed like that for hair loss. And it is the same stuff that they put in Rogaine. And so anyways, we just got to keep finding more and more natural stuff to take care of us, because otherwise they're just filling us with more and more and more chemicals in every fucking aspect, every breath we take. And so anyways, I'll quit talking. I've been talking so long. I knew I was gonna, and I still don't feel like I got everything said. I feel like there's still so much left that I could say. So who knows? I may be back today and speak some more. But everything, just remember, this is your expansion of yourself and your abilities to start, working on healing yourself, working on connecting with outside of you, and focusing on the timeline that you want. What do you want from your life? What kind of success do you want? Focus on your best timeline. Stay focused on that. Don't let them pull you into these, dark timelines, because that's what they want to do. So anyways, I'll stop talking, but have a great day. And, I think I love everybody, even though I don't know you. I just feel like this love in my heart towards human beings. And it used to be like where everybody, I hate people. And you see a lot of those people are the I hate people. I mean, there's so much about the hypocrisy. Even when Adele, lost weight, it was the same people who want to be accepted for their body. You're sitting there telling, oh, you look so great. That's so great. You're so skinny. It's like the hypocrisy that they create in people, the people who don't even have awareness of their own hypocrisy. But that is what is coming into their mirror, into their reality, the part of them that they have to face, that shadow side of themselves, the dark side of themselves. That's what everybody has to face. And, just work on you and, know that you are loved. I hear so many people, like everybody is feeling this love for everybody. Like we feel so connected and we all love each other, and they've just been blocking it and creating panic and fear. But really, it's all about the love. And so it's going to make me cry. Just, even if you're alone, remember that there is all these people out here who love you. And, we will get through this. It's a hard thing, but it has to be hard because it has to be impactful. It has to be significant. We have to know what we want for the future. And there's nothing here that they're offering that we want in our future. So keep that in mind and take care of yourself. I'll talk to you later. Bye.